In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Tutorial 1 in PowerPoint. Now, PowerPoint is found in your textbook toward the end of your textbook. It's the orange section, and at the top of the page, it's labeled PPT. So if you want to turn in your textbook to page PPT 2 and 3, you will see an overview of the PowerPoint screen. I'm going to go ahead and open up PowerPoint. So to do that, I would go to my Start button at the bottom left of my screen. This is assuming that you're using Windows 7. If you're using another operating system, then it may be different than that. But in Windows 7, I would click on my Start button, click All Programs, scroll down until I see Microsoft Office in the list, click on that. Then look for PowerPoint or Microsoft PowerPoint 2010 and click on that. Now I'm getting a couple of additional screens here that you will not get on yours because mine is linked to Camtasia. But when you bring up PowerPoint, it should look like this to you. Now beginning on page PPT2 and really going through the page PPT 49, it's going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to create these files for the assignment. I'm just going to, in this video, give you some general concepts about PowerPoint. For example, the screen that you're looking at now, at the very top you have a title bar which tells you the name of the application, which is PowerPoint, and the name of the file that you're creating, which defaults to presentation 1 or 2 or 3 until you get around to naming it, saving it, and giving it a name. Also at the top you have your ribbon with different tabs. In the center, this is your work area, and this is known as the slide pane. This is the area where you will do most of your work, and it's also the way your slide will look when you run your presentation. Below that is the notes pane. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Over to the left you have your slide and outline tab. We'll talk about that later. And at the bottom, under your notes pane, is the status bar. Shows you slide 1 of 1, probably gives you the office theme. And then below that, your task bar, which where your start button resides and any program buttons that you may have open at the time. To the right of that, to the right of the status bar, you have your 4 view buttons. You have normal, slide sorter, reading view, and slideshow. And then you have your zoom buttons, where you can increase or decrease the size of your display. Okay, well, in the slide pane area, you'll notice 2 boxes. These 2 boxes are called placeholders. Placeholders are areas for reserved for adding text or graphics to your slide. If I wanted to add a title to the slide, I would simply click in that top box, and then I can type something like my class presentation, and then below that I can click in the placeholder below that and give it a subtitle, and maybe I'll put by and then put my first and last name if I can spell it correctly. And so basically at this point I've created slide number 1, and you'll notice that it shows up over here under the slide tab. If I were to click on the outline tab over here to the left, it would show the text for that slide. So I could actually edit my slide from over here, and you'll notice that whatever I type here appears in the slide pane, and whatever I type in the slide pane appears over here in the outline tab. Now I'm going to go back to the slide tab, which shows miniature thumbnail images of your slides. If I wanted to create a new slide, there are 2 ways to do that. Up in your slides group, there are 2 icons. One has a little white page with a little yellow sparkly thing up in the upper left corner. And the second one actually shows the words new slide. Now these both add a slide, but they do it a little bit differently. What I'm going to do is click on the white icon square with the yellow sparkly part to it, and when I do that, you'll notice it adds a new slide. I now have a slide 2 over here on the left. And you'll notice it added a slide with a title and an area below with a bullet list. Now this is called a title and content layout. Now when you click that icon with the little yellow sparkly thing, well, it's going to always add this type of layout because this is the most common layout in PowerPoint. And that will probably show up on your exam. What is the most common layout in PowerPoint? Title and content. So it saves a little time by just clicking that, and it will always add that layout. Now I have 2 slides. If I wanted to still add another slide, I'm going to click this time the Words New Slide. And when I do that, you'll notice that I have an option of picking from 9 different layouts. So if I want a different layout than title and content, I can pick one from this list. Well, I'm still going to pick title and content for my 3rd slide, so I'll go ahead and click that. So now I have 3 slides. Now I have nothing on slide 2 or 3, and if I go back to slide 2, and I can do that by simply going over to the left and clicking on that slide, I can now add some information to this slide. So at the top, I'll simply add my favorite sports teams, and then click below in the bottom placeholder. You'll notice it automatically adds an area where you can put some bullet list. And for my favorite sports teams, maybe I'll put Alabama, Crimson Tide, or maybe you are an Auburn fan, Auburn Tigers. Maybe you like pro football. Maybe I get the minute. New Orleans Saints. Maybe baseball. The Atlanta Braves, and so forth. So you have a list of sports teams that that you like. Now, if and I could keep going here. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and put some additional items in here. I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3. And now you'll notice when I get down to the bottom, it looks like I'm about to run off the end of the screen. However, when I type this next line, you'll notice that it jumps the item 4 into the placeholder. You'll also notice that it opened up a little white square at the bottom left of this slide, and that is called the Auto Fit button. If I click on the Auto Fit button, you'll notice that Auto Fit is turned on. Auto Fit text placeholder. That will allow you to continue to add items. So I could add another one after 4, make it 5 and 6, and so forth. And it will do whatever it needs to do to fit all of that text into your placeholder. Okay, and then I'll go to slide 3, click on the title, and maybe say my favorite hobbies, and maybe reading, music, sports, fishing, hunting, and so forth. So we have 3 slides. Now I'm going to go back to slide 2, and I can view this slide this way. If I want to add still another slide to my presentation, and let's say I go up and I want it to be title and content, so I would simply click the icon with the yellow sparkly thing. I want you to notice that it adds the slide after slide 2. instead of at the end of the presentation. It will always add slides right after the slide that you're currently clicked on. Now, if this is not what you intended, if you really wanted that slide to be at the end, it's a very simple process of moving that. You can click over here on the left-hand side on that slide and drag down, drag and drop, drag until you see a little line below the last slide, let go, and now your extra slide or your new slide is at the very bottom. Now I'm going to go back to slide 2. Let's say that I want to add some clip art to this slide. Well, I can do that very easily. I can go up. There's a couple of ways to do this. One way is to change the layout. Now, if at any time you want to change the layout of a slide, you can go up to your slides group, and there's an icon for layout. I'm going to click layout, and instead of title and content, I'm going to select to content. You'll notice it automatically adds a placeholder over to the right that allows me to add something. I can add text, or I can utilize this content icon. Now, content icon is 6 smaller icons that allow you to add specific things. For example, I can insert a table, a chart, smart art, the second row, picture, clip art, or media clip. In this case, I want to add a clip art. So I'm going to click the bottom row, and over to the right, I have a clip art task pane. Now I'm going to search for some clip art for my presentation here. So I'm going to highlight. If there is a word in there, you can highlight it. If there's nothing in there, you can simply type. And but what I want to do is in the search for text box, I'm going to type the word computer and click enter, or press enter, or click go. And hopefully you will have this clip art with the lady in purple sitting at the computer. If not, you can select a different clip art for this demonstration if you're following along. I'm going to click on that one, and you'll notice it places that on my slide. It also places little circles and squares around the object. These are called sizing handles. These are used to increase the size. I can click on a corner and drag up to the left to make it larger, or I can click and drag toward the middle to make it smaller. I can also click directly on the object with my left mouse button and simply drag the object to different areas that I want to drag it to. Okay, now up in your picture styles on your ribbon, if you're you have a picture tools tab now with a format under it, and these are different picture styles that you could select for your picture. And you'll notice that there are only so many that it can display. And over to the right of the last one are 3 vertical buttons. The bottom one is the More button. If you click on that one, it will show you still additional styles that you could pick for your clip art. And you'll notice this is what we call a live preview. You're not actually clicking these. You're simply hovering your mouse pointer over these, and it will show you how the picture would look if you selected that particular item. Okay, well, I'm just going to select one. All right, now if I go back to slide 1, you can also, and we don't need this clip art task pane over here on the right any longer, so I'll close that out. If I click on the top placeholder, I can also add animations to my text. To do that, I go up to the Animations tab at the top and click on that, and there are certain animations up here listed. Now, these are not live preview. You actually have to click on these to, well, actually, they are live preview. I'm sorry. If you hover your mouse pointer over these, it will show you the effect that would take place. Now, I'm going to select Fly In, and when I select Fly In, you'll notice the title flies in from the bottom. However, I can change that by going up to another icon that is text options, or I'm sorry, effect options. And so I could have it come in from different directions. And again, this is a live preview as well. So I'll say from left. Okay. Now I'm going to go to slide 2 over on the left, and I'm going to give an animation to this title. Again, I'm going to say fly in, and I'll just leave it flying in from the bottom. That's fine. To animate the bullet items, I can simply click anywhere in that bullet list. And when I do, it opens up the entire placeholder. And now I can do any of these animations that I want. Now, just like the styles that we looked at a moment ago, it doesn't show you all of the animations. It has a more button as well. And so there's an entrance, emphasis, exit, and motion paths. Entrance is an effect that will occur when the text first appears on the screen. Emphasis is just giving extra emphasis to the text that's already on the screen. And exit is an effect that occurs when you leave this slide and go to the next slide. And motion paths are things you can do to customize your animations. Okay, so for my bullet list, I'll pick shape. And you'll notice how the bullets will appear with the shape effect. Now, we can also animate objects like this picture over here on the right, the clip art. To do that, I simply click on the clip art, and once again, I go up to one of these, or there's another icon up here at the top called Add Animation. So if you click Add Animation, this brings up the entrance, emphasis, exit, and motion paths for you. In this case, maybe I'll do an emphasis, maybe spin, and then I'll go and add another animation and maybe grow and shrink. So now I have two animations for that. Also notice that it is numbering your animations as you do this. Now, you may at this point want to go up to your advanced animation grouping and click the animation pane, which will bring a pane up on the right-hand side that shows you all of your animations. Now, you'll notice that it shows 1, 2, and then jumps to 12 and 13. The 3 through 11 are actually there. There's a little double arrow there, and if you click on that, it will show you those animations as well. And you can customize each of these animations. Another thing you can do is, if you wanted, you'll notice if I place my mouse pointer on the last one, it says on click, grow shrink. The one above that says on click, spin. So when you're running this, the first thing that will happen is, well, the next to the last thing that will happen actually is the object will spin, and then the last thing, grow and shrink. If I wanted to reverse the order of those, I can click on the last one, which is grow shrink, go down to the very bottom. There's an arrow pointing up in the reorder section. I can click on that, and now if I look, my number 12 is grow shrink, and the last one is spin. So you have control of ordering the way your animations appear on the slide and when they occur. If at any time you want to see how this looks before you actually run your presentation, you can go up and click the play button. When you click the play button, it brings up that slide as though it were running, and you can see if this is the way that you would like for it to appear when you actually run your presentation. Okay, now we don't need the animation pane any longer, so we'll close that out. Our presentation looks pretty good, except it's not very colorful. You can go up to your Design tab, and there are a number of themes available to you. This also is a live preview, and you can move your mouse pointer across these, and you'll see what it would look like if you picked one of these themes. And once again, it also has a More button. And you can go down and select a theme from any of these that are showing down here. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and select one, maybe this one. Okay, so, and you can change your mind on the theme anytime you want to. And there are lots of other options available that we don't have time to go into here, but you can change your theme. Now, my last slide is a blank, or is a new slide that has no information on it. It is title and content because we simply used the default. What I'm going to do is change the layout of this slide. To do that, I'll go back to the Home tab, go to my Layout option, and I'm going to click Blank. I'm going to click Blank because I want to have nothing on here but an object. And I'm going to insert a clip art object here. Now, a second way that you can insert a clip art, we looked at this a moment ago by changing the layout, but you can also go up to Insert, and then in the Images group, select Clip Art. It brings up your clip art task pane over here. Once again, we can search for some clip art. I can type in the word car and press enter, or click go, and it gives me clip art of cars. If you have the little green clip art here for the race car, you can click on that if you're following along with me. And then we can close the clip art task pane. Now, once again, I can change the size and I can change the location. But what I want to point out to you is that you can also animate this in a custom way. So you go up to Animations, you click on the clip art, you go up and click Animations, and then Add Animation. Now, you may have to actually scroll down to your motion paths in order to see the custom path. Now, there are some preset motion paths. For example, this one goes down. This one does sort of an arc. This one does a turn. This one does a shape. This one does a loop. But I can also do a custom path. So if I click Custom Path, I can actually click in front of the little green car and actually create my own path for this object. And whatever path I end up with, when I am through, I can simply double click on the screen, and that will show me the path that I have developed for this. I simply point this out because sometimes you might want to create a path that's not available, and you want it to be a custom path. Now you notice it went pretty fast. You can also go up to your duration and change this to something greater. I'll change it to maybe 10. And to preview this again, there's a preview button on the far left. I can click that, and you notice now it goes much slower than it did before. So you can control the path, and you can control the speed of your animation. Okay, so we have 4 slides. Now, if I want to run this presentation as a slideshow presentation, recall the 4 view buttons down here at the bottom. You have Normal, Slide Sorter View. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. When you click on that, it shows you the 4 slides that we have all at one time. This is a good place to go to kind of look at your slides. And if you want to rearrange your slides, a good place to rearrange them. For example, I could click on the 4th slide, drag it so that there's a vertical line in between slide 1 and 2, and let go. And you'll notice I have simply moved my slide using drag and drop. Then I can move it back to the end again that way. Now, if I want to go back to normal view, I can simply double click on any of these slides. So I'll pick my 3rd slide, my favorite hobbies, double click on that one. So let's say I'm looking at that one, and maybe modifying it. But then I want to run my presentation, see what it looks like. Well, if I go down to my view buttons, and if I click slideshow, and I'm going to go ahead and click that, it will begin to run my presentation, but you'll notice that it begins the presentation on that very slide that you're on. So when you use the view button at the bottom of your screen, it's always going to start on the slide that you're currently on. Now, of course, you would probably normally always want to start with slide 1. If that's the case, you would need to make sure you were clicked on slide 1. However, I'm going to show you a different way to do it as well. So another thing to show you right now is if you're in the presentation and you want to abort the presentation, you can press the escape key on your keyboard. So I'm going to press that myself on my keyboard, and it takes me back to normal view. Now, once again, if you wanted to start this on slide 1, you could click on slide 1 and go down to your slideshow button and click there. However, I want to show you that even if I was on slide 3 and I wanted to run my presentation, if I press the F5 key on my keyboard, which I'm going to do now, it will start the presentation from slide 1, and then I can advance through the slides. Now, how do you advance through the slides? There are a number of ways to advance through the slides. But I'm going to give you 3 ways. These 3 ways may appear on your exam, so these are the 3 I'm going to mention to you. One is to simply click with your left mouse button, and you'll notice it advances to the next thing that happens on your slide. Another way is to press your space bar on your keyboard, and that will advance. And still another way is to press the right arrow key, and pressing the right arrow key will advance as well. Now, I kind of like pressing the right arrow key because if you want to back up, you can press the left arrow key, and you'll notice it backs up. So right arrow will take you forward, left arrow will take you back. Now, if I want to go to a particular slide while I'm running my presentation, I can right-click right on top of the slide, select Go to Slide, and let's say I wanted to go to back to slide 1. I can click that. Then I can right-click again, and I can go to a different slide, or I can go to let's see, Last View. Now I can go to Next, Previous. So I have different options that I can do here. So maybe I'll go to my favorite sports teams and advance through this a little bit. Another thing you can do while you're doing your presentation is right-click and click Pointer Options. I can select Pen, and when I select Pen, I can actually underline something, or I can circle something. Or I can right-click, Pen Options, Highlighter. I can highlight certain things, and I can go back to Pointer Options and use the eraser to erase things that I've placed in there as well. So different things you can do there. Now, if you continue to advance your slide, you will eventually get to the end of your slide, and at the very end it says End of Slide, click to exit, and if you click one more time it takes you to Design View. Another thing I want to show you briefly here is what we call transitions. I'm going to go to transitions, and transitions are things that or effects that will occur when you are going from one slide to another. Now, this is not live preview. If I click on these, it will show you what the transitions would look like if I selected one, and these also have a More button. And in the exciting group, there are some like Honeycomb. They're kind of interesting. And Vortex. And so you can kind of play around with these transitions. If you want to do a separate transition for each slide, you can simply go to each slide and click the transition that you want. Or if you find one you like and you want to apply it to all of the slides, you can go up to Apply to All and click on that. Well, now I'm going to run the presentation again to see how the transitions look with it. So I'll press the F5 key. My slide will begin with the transition. Bring up my first slide. And then as I go from one slide to another, you'll see that transition occur. Okay. So this is basically what I wanted to show you in this video. So at this point, I have my file done for this presentation. I would simply go to File, Save As, and give it some name. Now, my class presentation is fine. I'm going to save this onto my flash drive. And just to give you the preview of what you'll be doing with your assignments, with your files, you will be saving those somewhere on your flash drive. Now, preferably into the folder called CIS 146 data files. You don't have to, but that would be what I would suggest. So in this case, I'm going to save this file in the folder CIS 146 data files, which are the files that we download or that you download, either onto your hard drive or onto a flash drive. And in this case, I'm going to go to PowerPoint Tutorial 01, PowerPoint 1, and Tutorial. And it has a couple of files in there already. And I'm going to save this one in there as well. And then once you've saved it, you can close that presentation out. Now, if I go to my Start button, go to Computer, go to the file, flash drive, CIS 146 data files, PowerPoint Tutorial 1, PowerPoint 1, and Tutorial, you'll notice that now I have 3 files in that folder. 2 that you're going to be working with in Tutorial 1, pages PPT 4 through PPT 49. You'll be using these 2 files. And I've added this file to that folder. So for your assignment, I'm going to be asking you to do PowerPoint Tutorial 1, pages PPT 4 through PPT 49, and you will simply follow the instructions. In the first half of that tutorial, you're actually going to be creating a PowerPoint presentation from scratch, and they're going to ask you to to open PowerPoint initially, like we did a moment ago. They're going to ask you to save it with the name Sales. I believe that's found on page PPT 6 at the bottom of the page. And then you're going to follow the instructions through your tutorial. And I believe the first half of this ends on page PPT 31. And so you'll have a file called Sales. Now in the next section of your tutorial, you're actually going to be using a file, an existing file called Plan. And you'll notice, well actually, I believe they're in the first section, they may actually be, you'll be using another file, I'm sorry, yes, on page PPT 14, they'll be asking you to open a file called Sales 2. So let me just show you how you would start that on page 14. You would go to your Start button and open up PowerPoint. As we did before, and again, you would not get these additional screens that I'm getting here, and yours would look like this. You would go to File, Open, Now, once you click File Open, you need to find where your files are located when you download them. If you download them to your hard drive, then look there, or if you download to your flash drive, look there. But your files were downloaded to a folder, or created a folder on your computer called CIS 146 data files. So you would double click on that, and then go to PowerPoint Tutorial 1, PowerPoint 1 tutorial. And in the case of on page PPT 14, they're asking you to open a file called Sales 2. So you'll simply double click on that, and it will bring up that presentation. They also on page 14 ask you to save this under a different name. So you would simply go to File, Save As, and they ask you to name this Sales Updated. And you would simply click in Sales Updated and click Save. And then you would follow the instructions from page PPT 14 through PPT 31. And then you would turn over to page PPT 34 and 35. This file is complete, so you can click the little blue diskette to save it, or you can go to File, Save, either one. File, Close, and now you're ready to begin on page PPT 35, where it asks you to open another file called Plan, and you're going to save it as Business Plan. And you'll follow the instructions through to PPT 49. Okay, so at that point you would have two files ready to upload into your Eagles Web or Canvas. In a separate video, I will describe how to actually upload those files for that PowerPoint Tutorial 1, and then that will be the same process you will use for your subsequent assignments in the other products that we'll look at. Okay, well, this concludes this video. If you have questions, you're welcome to call me at my telephone number, my office number, or cell phone number, or come by to see me, and I'll be glad to help you with anything you need assistance with.